With Splitgate 1, there was no design theory. It was just, what's fun? Like, does this feel fun? Yes, it does. Okay, let's do it.
As we look at Splitgate 2, let's strip it all back and see like what is core to the Splitgate identity.
When I play an arena shooter, the thing I want to focus on is, can I outplay you? Can I outgun you? We've added a shit ton of stuff. We got all new modes. We've removed factions.
There's a whole new career system. We've overhauled the entire front end.
5 new maps, portal overloading,
leaderboards, stats. I mean,
the best parts of Splitgate 1 and innovations of Splitgate 2, puts them together. If you like a shooter with portals, this is the ultimate version of that. Splitgate 1 did a lot of things well. In particular, gunplay, movement, portals, like that's kind of our bread and butter. And we just had an overall fun game. It didn't take itself too seriously, tons of party modes, just a little bit of everything. And just sort of sticking to the basics of like a great arena shooter with this innovative portal mechanic. And it was a successful game, but it wasn't able to sustain long term. When we started on Splitgate 2, we asked ourselves like, okay, what are the things we want to preserve? But what are the things preventing this from getting to the next level? How can we make this a game that is long-term? A lot of the goals we started with were adding variety to the game, which you can see that's how we ended up with like classes, abilities, loadouts, having more meaningful progression, different things to unlock beyond skins, like different weapons. We added too much noise, right? We added a lot of these equipments that don't necessarily add much to the game, right? A time dome, a heal grenade, sand grenade, like it's just a lot of visual noise. And when I play an arena shooter, like my emphasis, the thing I want to focus on is like, can I outplay you? Can I outgun you? Can I outsmart you?
I came in with fresh eyes, and one of the things we got to do is really start to look at Splitgate, what defines Splitgate. And as we look at Splitgate 2, let's strip it all back and see like, what is core to the Splitgate identity, right? Like, because there is a lot of shared DNA between those two games, but in some ways, in an effort to change, to kind of push the formula forward, there was just a lot added to that. And so I think that, to your point, it felt a bit like noise to some players. And so when we got to strip it back, we started to really, really understand like what are the fundamental things that make a Splitgate experience, and then let's like refocus on trying to make that the best that it can possibly be.
Totally.
Right at the core, it's like, this is an arena shooter, right? Like, it is heavily inspired by some of the, console-friendly arena shooters that we grew up playing. I think for us, it was like, okay, we really need to refocus on what is the expectation of an arena experience. Like, what does that actually look like? And that's the modes, that's looking at things like time to kill, and making sure that fights remain readable, so that things don't feel chaotic and random, but instead you understand, okay, how did that player get the upper hand when I die? Instead of being met with sort of this frustration of like, what was that? I don't really understand what happened. So when we refocused around these sort of new core pillars for what Arena Reloaded was going to be, movement as a weapon really jumped out at us, because we've always known that arena games are about positioning. And with the new movement sandbox and the portal mechanics, you have a lot of ways to take power positions or reposition, right? Like, how do I want to play a corner? How do I want to play a hill? All of these different tools at your disposal are really weapons within the sandbox.
When I think of Splitgate Arena Reloaded, it's trying to find that balance of like not trying to force players to portal on specific paths, being intentional with the portals, and we have added some more portals and more portal jumps and more verticality, but allowing for that freedom where players, they can play the way they want to play, they can take the routes they want to take.
Even when we look at something like the faction system, pulling that away to give players more player choice and agency about the way they play. They can mix and match these different tools so that they can utilize them in ways that feel rewarding to them, right? Like, we like that creativity in combat. And we think all of that texture is what makes the arena sandbox so rewarding.
we did get a lot of negative feedback towards it, and we want to make this game for you, for the community. And so if the community rejects this largely, like, we're here to listen and adjust accordingly. So with Splitgate Arena Reloaded being that more traditional arena shooter, players don't want abilities, right? I want to feel like I won this fight or I lost this fight because I was the better player, or you were the better player, and hey, I'll live with that. If you beat me because you outportaled me or you outshot me, like, I can live with that. But I go up against you and I'm better and I'm outsmarting you and I'm outflanking you, but then you just spawn a barrier wall or you have a different ability and I lose. Like, that's a very frustrating experience as an arena shooter fan. And so a lot of this it's about removing these limitations and restrictions, but also just outright removing abilities and factions to get back to our arena shooter roots.
It's about refocusing on the expectations of the player, right? We want to make sure when they come in and they're trying to play an arena shooter that they can find the things that they're looking for. And that's, obviously that's King of the Hill, that's domination, that's TDM, that's free-for-all, right? But it also comes down to like the things that Splitgate players expect, which is some of those more fun modes like Shoddy Snipes, Team SWAT, or
Gun game,
right? Like sometimes like that's one of the brilliant things about arena shooters is like I have the fondest memories of just being with my friends, playing different modes and just enjoying myself. And so in some ways, we really want to bring back that experience. One of the things that players truly enjoyed about Splitgate 1 was this return to even starts, which is something that largely has sort of vanished from the industry, right? And the idea is like everybody starts on equal footing. You have the same weapons as anyone else in the lobby. And anytime that changes, it's about your map knowledge, finding another weapon, getting there on the spawn timer, fighting over those powerful weapons, and then claiming them for yourselves. The core experience for Splitgate 2 was a much more modern experience, which many of us love. Like honestly, I love modern shooters where I can fine tune exactly what I want, but for a lot of our players, they were missing that classic feel. And so Classic Arena is an option for those players who want to have that experience to be able to come in and play even starts.
And this isn't just in Classic, but this is across the board. We've added power-ups to the game, and that's something that Splitgate 1 never actually had. So when we asked ourselves, what does it mean to double down on Arena first? Well, that's kind of like a staple of being an arena shooter, is having different power-ups. We've got Rush, just as it was with Eros, where you get the speed boost, your health recharges faster, you can reload faster. We've got Hypersight. It's a little bit different than Meridian's Hypersight because no longer does it reveal for your entire team. We felt like that was pretty frustrating to play against when everybody in the lobby knows where you are. And then we've got your classic Overshield, right? It works, it's fun, it's a must-have.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Running around as a tank, like it's so fun. You're like, I'm just gonna crash on the team on a hill and like let them try to take me down. You just feel invincible for just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
One of the big changes we made as we started looking at Arena Reloaded was how do we overhaul progression and make sure the entire game feels rewarding? And so we've done that in many ways. And one of the core ways is our sort of career level system where you play the game, you level up, and you get rewarded for it. You have the rookie levels where you're gonna get new pieces of kit, new weapons, the core things you need to fill out your toolkit. And then that tapers into like a long tail progression where you get rewarded for the more time that you spend in the game. And that's, prestige cosmetics, like cool titles that you can only get by playing the game. There's this sort of new concept that we're introducing called the exchange, which is a way for players to basically, as you play, you'll be able to earn Proulx, which is our upgrade currency, and you can go into the exchange and you can get new customization just for playing the game. Across the board, our sort of core philosophy is like let's reward players for spending time in the game, right? Let them have fun, fragging out, playing with their friends, and then let's make sure that feels rewarding when they come back to the main menu.
So we've added a shit ton of content. We've added 5 new maps, 3 of which are remasters from Splitgate 1. So we've added Oasis, which I think in particular has really played a lot better with some of the Portal editions and Sandbox editions. We've added Abyss, which, I mean, it speaks for itself, but fan favorite, one of the best maps we've ever made. We've seen a lot of just desire from our community to add asymmetrical maps and vertical maps, so Abyss fits very well. And lastly, we've added Carmen Station, which is actually the first map that we ever made, originally called Outpost, but added that remastered into Splitgate Arena Reloaded. But we've also got 2 new maps that have never been played before or seen before, and that is Terra 13, which is our biggest arena map that we've ever made, and Hammerhead, which I would say is our most epic map we've ever made. It is literally a giant moving vehicle.
It's this really cool land crawler. It's, you know, in the middle of the desert. It's just so cool to be able to go from on a moving vehicle down to the ground where the vehicle is, you know, sort of separating from you. And it's just like a completely different experience from anything in Splitgate before.
Yeah.
We've sort of overhauled a lot of our maps to have more intentional portal usage. And then we have all of these new maps where there's just gonna be a whole new way to play the game.
We've also added some portal jumps and more portal walls in general and opened things up. But, you know, I'm a huge fan of the portal jumps. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from our community on that. On just like on Academy, for example, like just being able to come out of a portal with high velocity, dive into a slide, go through another portal. There's just so many cool things you can do, just giving the players more freedom.
And that's rewarding, right? Like, I think a lot of players, once they see what portals can do for their gameplay, they want to utilize them more and they want to start experimenting. But it's important for us as the people creating the experience to give you a reason to want to do that, right? And we love the movement sandbox. I slide everywhere, I'll tell you that. But like, it is amazing when you can say like, oh wait, if I put a portal here and I put a portal here and I jump into it, I can get to this spot where I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And like, that's such a rewarding feeling, and it really incentivizes that type of creativity that we think you can only really get in Splitgate.
So we've added 4 new weapons to the game. We've got 3 new starter weapons, which are our all new LMGs, and then we've got the fan favorite returning the railgun. Shoots a massive beam, one-shot kills, goes through bodies, so you can get those crazy multi-kills. And then the LMGs, which I think are some of the most interesting guns we've added to the sandbox. We've got 3. So we've got the Velocity LMG. It's pretty much your stereotypical LMG, just for people who are familiar with LMGs and like the way that plays. But we've also got the Strata LMG, which is the Meridian base. So that is a quad burst. And then we've got, of course, the Sabrask-themed LMG. The Barrage, and that thing is a monster. It's got a triple barrel, slower fire rate, of course, to balance it out, but it's just unloads on people 3 bullets at a time. They all just really play differently and add a lot to the sandbox, so we're excited about them.
Playing against portals can be frustrating if you can't understand what's happening, right? Like people who are really adept at using portals, you can move quickly around the map, and sometimes that can be hard to follow as a combatant. And so what we've done is we've tried to make a concerted effort to make portal play and portal fights as readable as possible. And that manifests in 2 main ways. There's sort of the VFX side of things, which is, you know, visually, we want to make sure you can follow people portaling. And so we've added this new portal trail where as players are teleporting through the map, we've added this almost portal tracer effect where you can see them moving through the map.
And it's subtle. I mean, we didn't want to add a ton of visual noise. It just kind of directs you in the right direction, right? And it's helpful both in terms of if an enemy is flanking me, just getting that subtle, like, okay, what direction are they going? But also for teammates, right? Like, I want to know, where's my teammate going through like this portal? I can't see through it. Is he going left? Is he going right? So just having that subtle, like, get your eye moving in the right direction.
And then on top of that, we've gone through a lot of iteration on our audio side. The audio team has done so much work to try to make sure that fights remain readable and you understand when someone is firing at you from a portal from behind you or to your left. You hear as players are flying through the air now. There's just so much that changed around the sort of audio feedback.
It's night and day. I mean, I go back and play on the live game versus like what we've been playing internally, and it's like, I don't even know how we shipped with this. It's so different.
Yeah, the subtle additions and how much that changes your ability to parse a battlefield and make the split-second decisions you need to win those fights. The vibe of Arena Reloaded is entirely different from Splitgate 2. A lot of the things in the front end and just like overall feeling around the game felt a bit more utilitarian than we want. We love this like player fantasy of being this intergalactic combat athlete. We want players to feel badass. When they come in, they kit up and they dress down how they want to go and fight. We want them to feel like the star of the show. And so there was a big effort to like make that feel truly immersive. Like, let us sell you this concept of you being that like all-star combat athlete.
It's also quite a bit of a darker tone. Even Ozone, the map, like we've actually overhauled that visually to be darker, and that's kind of a indication of like the direction we want to go with our key art, our logo, our menu, our music. Everything is just a bit more mature feeling, less kind of bubblegum.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we released in beta, it's undeniably beautiful, and I think everything that the art team did is incredible. Like, the game looks so much different than everything else in the market. And I think what we've seen now that our players have gotten their hands on it is like some of them really are longing for that more traditional arena feel. Oftentimes that comes with, you know, darker environments, you know, metal and, you know, stone. And so we have a lot of that stuff coming into the new map pool. We still do have those environments that are gonna feel sort of otherworldly and futuristic, and we have a lot of stuff that we're still working on that, you know, will come post-launch that even pushes those in different directions further. One of the things that we've had the opportunity to do now that we've removed the faction system is really open up how you customize your character. And as a result, we've sort of overhauled that experience because everything used to be anchored through the faction system. Now, we've sort of split it out. There are these two main factors of you, the combatant. There's your character skin, like what do you want your cosmetics to be, and what guns do you want, and what do you want those to look like. And so we have these cool areas of the front end, which is the locker room. And this is like an actual space where you will go and you can kit out your athlete to look the way that you want. And then we have this whole weapons menu with this awesome weapon bench where you get to really customize your guns the way that you want and build the loadouts you want so that you can take them into the experience.
We did a lot of play testing in Splitgate 1. Like, that was how we built the game. Even, you know, since the dorm room days of like me and Nick and our friends uploading the game to Google Drive to download it. Like, that's how we got started. We did monthly play tests with our friends. And then that carried on throughout Splitgate 1's development of just like constant iteration with the community. And I think with Splitgate 2, we sort of moved away from that a little bit, you know, for the purpose of, oh, we want to build hype and we want to, you know, we don't want to have something leak. And, you know, with Splitgate Arena Reloaded, it's like, let's just go back to that's what worked for us. Like, just who cares if it leaks? Let people stream it. Let people talk about it. Like, we just want feedback, because if the game is great, it's gonna work.
Just that sort of developing out in the open and really just like this partnership with our community, that's been sort of, I think, the X factor, right? Like, that's the defining factor for us is players know what they like, right? Like they understand what a great game feels like, and they'll let you know when you're onto something, and they'll let you know when you're off. And so we've had the benefit of having just incredible players come, give us their feedback, and help us get on track with the expectations of the game that they want, right?
Yep.
And so it has just been so helpful for us to understand exactly what it is that Splitgate Arena Reloaded is becoming.
To me, this is the ultimate version of Splitgate.
You know, this is a love letter to a genre that we just deeply love. For us, it's about creating a core arena experience.
I want them to feel that nostalgia again. I feel that when I play Splitgate Arena Reloaded. I want our community to feel that too.
tight gunplay, fast movement, interesting mechanics like our portals, and making sure that you have a place where you can jump in with your friends, frag out, and have a good time.
I don't have anything to add to that. I mean,
since entering beta, the team has spent countless hours rebuilding this game from the ground up to make sure it meets the expectations of arena fans all over the world.
this is truly the best Splitgate has ever felt, and we've got so much more to show you in the coming weeks. Splitgate Arena Reloaded launches on December 17th. We hope to see you in the arena.